Today we'll take a look at the Mini Z ZR-1 Corvette body. It's just my opinion. It really is not a definitive statement, and every opinion expressed in this video is mine alone and is only based off my own personal opinions and observations. So with that, we'll get started. And first thing I'll say about this body is it looks pretty cool. It's a Corvette, so obviously if you're a Corvette guy, you'll like it. I'm a Corvette guy. I like it. This is the body that Joe Getz sent me. I was going to do a little bit of wing research on it, try to find something that will replace the stock wing. These just get into a review of the basic car. The stock wing, I don't know how much it actually does, but it is very fragile. I've seen just about every one of them break off until now. I don't know how Joe's kept two wings on this car, but once I got it, I of course broke it off to do a little bit of testing on it. Take it off, and the first thing I notice on every Corvette is they do have a built-in weak point on the back, and it happens right in this area here. If the car takes a big hit, I had a phone number on my hand earlier from another appointment, but ignore that. This line right here, and it has one on the side as well, I've patched it. I don't know if you can see that very well, but this line, I don't know why they designed that into it when they could have just gone flush with it and made it solid. But almost every Corvette body I've seen will break on either side right down this line, or because of this line through here. That could have been just molded flat on the backside. You'd have never seen it, and this would have been a very strong body. I have glued a patch in here, and it of course came broken with a chunk out of the nose. You can sort of see that. But I do like the body, and they are pretty good to drive. I've driven a few of them on the track. They're pretty nice. They handle well. They have a kind of a cab rearward weight bias to them. And another thing you'll notice is they're also pretty light. Even after a patch that I've added right here and on the backside, plus a bunch of super glue to hold this body together, it's still only 30.5 grams. I'd imagine 30.6. If that wasn't there, this body would probably be right down around 30, if not just a hair under, into the 29 range. But it is very light body. I like that about it. Another thing I like about it is that an MM2 motor mount will go right in, and there is enough room because of that cab rearward design. Nothing rubs and fits very nicely. So kudos to Kyosho for making the body so that you can run an MM2 motor case. So a 5600 stock Evo out of the box will work with this body, and I highly recommend it for racing. So far, another really great thing about it is if you decide to do an underbody trace similar to the one that I've created here for the nose, there is a lip underneath here that edge of your panel that you screw in will fit absolutely perfectly. There's a ridge on the bottom that it goes against, and one, I should say, a ridge through the middle that it can go against down here, and then these outer ridges support it very nicely, and there is no gap. I don't know what the mils thickness of my plastic is here, but it's from a plastic package. But it is absolutely perfect. I've never seen one line up that well before. And these front air dams do matter, especially on cars with a little bit longer nose. I don't know how much it'll matter on this one, but it is pretty good. I'm going to pause the video for a moment. Alright, I'm back. I had to take a phone call. Normally when I do a video where we do aero testing, I like to have my anemometer so I can get the exact wind speed set right in the middle of this seam at 22 kilometers per hour. But as of right now, I don't know where I put it, and I've looked around and I cannot find it. So just to let you know, I'm going to take a guess at the wind speed today and try to line it up in an approximately the same location as other tests. But it's not going to be an exact test because, like I said, I don't have the wind speed indicator today in order to do that for you. So we're just going to take a guess at it, like I said, and try and see how this thing does. We'll start with the Corvette. This is an end-of-life Corvette that's been raced very hard. It's chopped up. I have plugged all the holes in the body with tape, covered them all up so that hopefully it's an accurate test as possible. But we'll see what it does without a wing, and then I'll throw the car or the body with the wing on and test that. And then after that, we'll test a wing back on this body again that I made earlier today, just to measure the effectiveness. And this is a chassis with no batteries because, like we said on previous tests, we're not concerned with the actual weight of the car, only the difference. And I'm not even worried about the front weight of the car because in this particular one, the splitter smashed off. So it's not even going to be an accurate test on that. But we'll just worry about the rear downforce today. If it makes front downforce, that's great. That's shape of the body, not even the splitter. But I do have the underbody panel that I made for it, so there may be some benefit. Let's have a look. All right, here it goes. I'm approximating 22 kilometers per hour. And figure out why it won't turn on. Here we go. So 64.8 on the back, 60 on the front. That's pretty interesting. It lost it lost about 2 on the tail, but it gained about 5 grams of downforce. Is that right on the nose? 61 on the nose. So that is a high downforce nose on this car. It could be due to the fact that I have the underbody panel, and it is probably scooping some air from the hole in the nose. So that's what I'm going to attribute the front to, because this is, like I said, unscientific. We'll look at the other car and see if it doesn't have an equivalent gain with no ability for that scoop effect to happen because it has a sealed front end. But the back of this car, you can tell, does lighten about 2 grams. That's pretty typical for Kyosho bodies, regular car bodies anyway, from what I've noticed. They generally lose about 2.5 grams with no wing. Let's try this. I'm going to use the same chassis and see what it does with the stock wing. This will also tell us if the nose is getting heavier from the scoop effect of my underbody panel, or if it's actually made by the car. Alright, so 56.6, 67.7, roughly. Wow. 63.71. So that is a good, really good result. That thing is gaining 6 pounds or 6 ounces of downforce on the nose. I've never seen that much before by one of these bodies. That is really good. Obviously, GM did some nice work in the wind tunnel with this car when they produced it, because that's fantastic. I've not seen that big of an increase before. Let's look at the tail again. 67.3. That's 5.5 grams from resting weight. Plus, you can consider the fact that it already had 2, just because that's the difference between no wing and a wing. So this wing is making about 7 grams of downforce just with the stock wing. That is fantastic. I might have to get one of these bodies myself. I'm kind of surprised by how good it is. So let's look at that. The rear downforce 66.5, and we'll jump it back up and see what we get. 71.1. So 5 grams of downforce plus the 2 from no wing. That's a 7 gram downforce rear wing. And for a stock factory wing from Kyosho, I'm very impressed by that. That's really good. That's really, really good, actually. I'm going to throw the one on that I made, and we'll see if we can't jump that up even more. Mostly impressed by the front downforce on this. I'm just a little bit in disbelief that it could be that good. I mean, part of it may be the underbody panel, but let me do some switching around. So I'll get the my aftermarket wing that I created on the orange car, and we'll do another test. Okay, we've got the orange body back on. This is a wing that I built earlier today. It is to replace the very fragile wing that comes off of the stock car. And right now it's not screwed on, just for the purpose of the video. I have it just taped on. I will eventually drill those 2 holes out and secure it. Basically, it's just got a blade that I've taped onto the back that I'll be able to screw down onto the car. And it should be durable. It should take hits and even flips, maybe even be a little more gentle on the car when it hits the wall and such. But it's a good looking wing. It sort of matches the original shape of the one that came on the car, because I tried various shapes and nothing really looked good until I went back to the original shape. It's a bit exaggerated, but we're working with small scale cars that need to push a lot of air in order to make a real difference. So let's see what it does. 68.1, 55.5. That is 12.3 grams of added downforce on the tail. That is confirmation this wing works. It does provide a little bit of that teeter-totter effect and takes away some of the nose downforce, but you get a lot on the tail from this wing. And if you're on a track that is slippery and you need more rear grip, this is the wing to use. We'll just run it back up one more time and see what it gets with the wind on. Well, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm kind of a believer now. I thought the Corvette was kind of cool looking when I first drove it, first saw it. I am a little bit suspect of this line right here, because that's where they break. And if you were to pre-brace that before you even drove the car on both sides, like I've done here, I just glued in a piece of clear Lexan plastic that's real thick. I think if you basically just glued it to death back here, and also make sure your headlights are glued in real tight. They do provide structural stiffness to the body as well. But this should be a fantastic race body. I'm gonna take it to the track later on. I have my own track with a timing system currently set up at a rental property that my family owns, and I'll do a little bit of track testing just for a few opinions on how it does. But just by showing the aero testing, this thing is a really good body. So that's all I've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll get that screwed down tighter, and I'll do some track testing with the body that's somewhat whole. I repatched it with a little brace on the front there, and other than that, it's a good whole body. And I'll even test it with this one that I have here. It's broken up a little bit, but nothing appears to rub. That's another thing I forgot to mention. This thing, sorry about that, this thing will allow not only the MM2 motor case, but I've got 3mm offset wheels in the back, 2mm offset on the front, and it is just fine. There's no rubbing issues. So it's a wide track body that should be really good for racing. I'm normally racing McLaren 12Cs, but I can see buying one of these Corvette ZR-1 bodies and trying it out on various tracks. But I think it's going to be a really good one. Hadn't expected it to come out that good, but I'll try to get some track testing videos up for you and just some general opinions driving it, and that'll be the next section of this if I can do it.